and welcome to another episode of She's Got Legs, where we spotlight the most misunderstood creatures on our planet. I'm your host, Caitlin Henderson, and with me today is the ivory ornamental tarantula. Now this is the male. In the background, I've got the molts of the females so you can see what they look like. A disclaimer. Ornamental tarantulas are known to have an illness-causing bite, and I'm not recommending you hold them at home. But this very relaxed male is the perfect example of how spiders don't bite unless they have a good reason. This guy is here today as an ambassador for spiders to show us that they're actually pretty chill, they're not out to get us, and we don't need to be afraid of them. And that brings us to the topic of today's video, where we're going to be debunking the top 10 spider myths that I hear regularly. So hang around, you may learn something. If you do, neither me or this guy will be held responsible. Myth number 10. You swallow 8 spiders per year in your sleep. This one has been around for a long time, and I really love it because my first and only question is who researched this? Did someone sit in on someone sleeping with a clipboard and mark it off every time a spider crawled into their mouth? And do they have to cross it back off if it walked out again? And did they check to make sure they hadn't inhaled it, they actually swallowed it? And how many spiders are living in my lungs right now as I speak? From a behavioral standpoint, spiders are pretty actively going to avoid walking into the mouths of predators. It's pretty bad for their general instinct to be alive. While spiders definitely do accidentally walk on us while we're sleeping, it's quite unusual and they will hurry to get out of there once they realize how badly their Google Maps has led them astray. They're certainly not going to walk into a hot, wet mouth, breathing in and out and decide, instead of escaping, that they're gonna walk further in and drown themselves in lukewarm saliva. This is as terrible for them as it sounds for you. Myth debunked. 9. Spiders are insects. In casual usage, you might think of an insect as anything that crawls around in the dirt with loads of legs, so it can be a surprise to find out that spiders aren't actually insects. There's a scientific definition of what is and isn't an insect. So let's take a look at how spiders fit into that. Spiders and insects both belong to a group called arthropods, which are animals without a backbone, that instead have a hard outer covering called an exoskeleton. An insect is an arthropod with 6 legs and a body divided into 3 distinct parts. Spiders belong to a group called arachnids. They have 8 legs and a body divided into 2 parts. Other well-known arachnids include scorpions, ticks, and mites. So now you can join me in developing an involuntary twitch anytime you hear someone call a spider an insect. 8. All spiders make webs. One of the main rules of being in Spider Club is that you have to be able to produce silk. But do all spiders use silk to make webs? Obviously not, because I put it in the myths section. One of my favorite things about spiders is the amazing diversity of their behaviors. Webs are just one specific use of silk to catch prey. And one of the most classic webs is that circular orb web that's used to snare flying insects. There are many kinds of webs, some that catch prey on the ground, some that are spread out like sticky trampolines, but there are also loads of spiders that use other methods to catch their prey. There are spiders that live underground in silk tubes. There are spiders that run around actively hunting for their food. There are spiders that invade other spiders' webs. There are spiders that shoot glue out of their face. I think you get the picture. For every Charlotte out there, there's truckloads of other spiders doing all kinds of crazy things to get their next meal, and I am so excited about each and every one of them. 7. All spiders eat flies. This ties in with our previous myth that all spiders build webs. Spiders that do build sticky, circular orb webs are going to specialize in catching flying insects, so they're going to be chowing down on blowflies and mosquitoes and beetles. By contrast, a spider that's actively hunting on the ground is going to be eating other ground-dwelling invertebrates. And some spiders are really specialized, only eating a species of ant or other spiders. There's even a jumping spider that's vegetarian. So not every spider is going to be hanging around dealing with your mosquito problem, but they're all playing an essential role. 6. The daddy longlegs is the most venomous spider in the world, but its fangs are too small to pierce our skin. Occasionally, I will pick up a supposedly non-fiction spider book and this clanger will be sitting there on page 3. It hurts me deep in the brain parts. First, let's make sure we define who we're talking about here, because daddy longlegs is a frankly ridiculous name that can refer to more than one animal. So we're talking about spiders in the family Pholcidae, which are also known as cellar spiders. We're not talking about harvestmen, which are another arachnid that lack a venom entirely, and we're definitely not talking about the crane fly of the same name, which is an insect. The name daddy long legs, which is shared among these different animals, comes from their extremely long, thin legs and the fact that all of them, even the mums, are daddy. Many species of daddy long legged spiders are adapted to living in caves, crevices, and under rocky overhangs, which extends to living in the corners of our ceilings and apparently cellars. I don't want to disappoint you all, but the fact is that daddy long legs are just another one of the overwhelming majority of spiders that have a venom that's toxic to bugs, not people, because they eat bugs, not people. Spider venom is amazing. It's full of all kinds of weird and wonderful things, but in the end, it has a pretty ordinary job to do, and that's what the daddy long legs is doing with it. Not only has the venom been shown to be absolutely stock standard in the sense that it affects arthropods and not mammals, it's also not true that they can't bite us. They don't want to bite us, but they absolutely will if they feel threatened and trapped. Usually that's if you put your giant hand fingers on one by mistake. It's suspected that this myth came to be because daddy long legs are able to kill redback spiders, also known as widow spiders, which have a painful and illness-causing bite. So it was thought that therefore the daddy long legs is like the supreme ultra spider, but it's actually more of a paper, scissors, rock kind of scenario. Daddy long legs have advantages over the redback, namely their giant, long noodle legs. But there are jumping spiders, for instance, that can catch and kill daddy long legs without breaking a sweat. 5. Bird-eating spiders eat birds. Bird-eating spider is a name often used for specific tarantulas or the family as a whole. Now, logic would tell you that if you name a spider after a thing that it eats, that it would probably eat a lot of that thing. For instance, you could call me the chocolate-eating spider, and that would be pretty damn accurate. I once attended a live animal display in Australia where the guide told me straight-faced that our native tarantulas chased down and ate birds. He specified finches as the bird of choice, which is a relief because for a minute there I was worried about the emu population. The problem with his description is that Australian tarantulas live mostly underground and they're ambush predators that hunt from their burrow entrances at night, meaning a finch would have to be awake at night and wandering past the entrance to the tarantula burrow in order to get eaten. I'm not saying it can't happen, I'm just saying there's not a lot of flightless insomniac finches out there. That's not to say that tarantulas don't eat birds. There are records of birds being eaten by tarantulas, especially in areas of the world where tarantulas are commonly tree-dwelling. However, these records are so rare that it's more of a case of something having gone terribly wrong for that bird rather than being a normal part of that spider's diet. The truth is that tarantulas prey on a wide variety of small animals, including invertebrates, small mammals, frogs, lizards, and they even scavenge dead prey. Birds simply don't make up a significant enough portion of their diet to warrant calling them bird-eating spiders, but I suppose bug-eating spider was not considered punchy enough. 4. Venomous equals dangerous. This one is quite understandable because when we talk about something being venomous, we usually mean it as a synonym for dangerous to people. But in reality, one does not mean the other. Venom is a tool primarily used for self-defense or prey capture, so spider venom has evolved to target invertebrates and in some cases, small vertebrates. The overwhelming majority of spider venoms haven't evolved to affect the human body in any real way because we're not food and we're not predators. So I'll really double down on this. Most spiders are venomous, but most spiders are not dangerous at all to people. That doesn't mean that there aren't spiders with a venom that is dangerous to people. So I'm not going to suggest that you go out and shake hands or legs with every spider that you see. Funnel webs, in particular the Sydney funnel web, which lives within a dense human population, are the most dangerous spiders in the world. The Sydney funnel web has killed people before the introduction of antivenom. Other spiders known to have a venom that significantly affects people include wandering spiders, recluse spiders, six-eyed sand spiders, widow spiders, and mouse spiders. 3. Spiders will chase you, jump at you, and attack you. If you've ever had the experience where you were talking to someone and you thought they were like really mad at you, but then you realize you just totally misread their expression, they were thinking about something completely different, remember this next time you see a spider. Spider body language is really different to human body language, and it's really different to other animals that we're more familiar with. But since we don't know what we don't know, it's really easy to look at a particular spider behavior and misread it as something totally different. And it's hard enough when it's people. I've heard from a lot of people over the years that their deep arachnophobia stemmed from this particularly haunting memory of this time that a spider chased them through the house or jumped off the roof at them or attacked them. The basic rule here is that a spider will never attack a person. It doesn't make any sense. We're huge and they're tiny. Even if a spider does have a really painful bite, it's probable that we're gonna squash them in retaliation before they get a chance to escape. So there goes all the brave spiders out of the gene pool, and we're left with the sensible spiders who see us as giants that they don't want to mess with. But we do know that spiders can bite, and they will do that in self-defense. And this is in a situation where the spider is trapped and it can't get away. Some spiders will make it easy for us. They'll stand up and they'll warn us before it happens. And they're not saying, I'm going to attack you. They're saying, back off and don't come any closer or I'll bite. They want to avoid biting. Any spider with a sense of self-preservation is going to avoid biting you at all costs. Some spiders can run really fast when they feel threatened, and this can give people the impression they're being chased, but this is another misunderstanding. What you need to remember in this situation is that spiders are sometimes a bit dumb. They have tiny brains and their eyesight is often pretty terrible. When they get scared, they're gonna run for cover, and sometimes the best crevice to hide under is your shoe, and sometimes the best tree to climb is you. And they don't always clock that you're the Lovecraftian horror beast that scared them in the first place. The same goes for spiders that jump. Not all spiders can do this, and it's only going to be from a height, not up at you from below. Spiders are usually only jumping to catch prey, which isn't you, or to yeet out of a life or death situation, which is probably you. If they do make a flying leap for safety, they're not aiming for you. If they do land on you, you can bet they're going to jump off again as soon as they realize their life choices need serious revising. 2. Spider bites are common. One of the biggest myths going around is just how common spider bites are. Whenever an unexplained sore turns up on someone's skin, especially if it's accompanied by pain, the first question always seems to be, which spider bit me? It doesn't help that everything from Google to Facebook groups to actual doctors can feed into this by diagnosing random skin complaints as spider bites. One excellent study that I'll link to in the video description looked at 182 patients that turned up to an emergency department with a spider bite over almost 2 years. Out of those people, only 7 turned out to have actually been bitten by a spider, which is less than 4%. Spider bites are not uncommon, but they definitely don't happen anywhere near as often as we think. But because people are afraid of spiders and expect them to bite, random infections, illnesses, and bites from other animals, including insects, get misdiagnosed as spider bites. It's a cycle that perpetuates itself because this information then gets passed on to others. So this idea that spiders are just sitting around waiting to bite us all the time just keeps growing, and this really feeds into our next and final myth. Number 1, necrotizing arachnidism. Without a doubt, one of the most harmful myths getting around is that spider bites will eat away at our flesh in a syndrome called necrotizing arachnidism. It's absolutely true that some spiders have a venom which contains a component able to destroy tissue. These spiders, including the infamous brown recluse, belong to the family Sicariidae. It's been confirmed that bites from these spiders will sometimes cause necrotic lesions, though most bites aren't serious. With it confirmed that there are spiders that can cause flesh-eating injuries naturally, other spiders came under suspicion. But unfortunately, these spiders didn't receive a fair trial and have been demonized ever since. One prominent Australian example is the case of the white-tailed spider. I've previously written about the origin of this myth in depth for Medieval Wildlife, which I'll link to in the description if you need more convincing. To summarize decades of mythology and debate, there's no evidence that links this spider to necrosis. Studies of its venom and of confirmed, expertly identified bites have been unable to show that it causes or is even capable of causing these types of effects. But despite this information, the myth still persists even within medical communities. The same can be said of other innocent bystanders. Hobo spiders and yellow sac spiders have both stood accused of causing flesh-eating injuries in North America, causing the usual panic. However, no evidence has since been produced to back up these claims, and these spiders are also considered victims of mythology. The harm from misdiagnosing necrotic lesions as spider bites goes far beyond besmirching the good name of innocent spiders. In another excellent study that I'll link below, it was found that in a series of supposed necrotic whitetail bites, All cases ended up with an alternative diagnosis, including fungal and bacterial infections. Misdiagnosing other medical problems as a spider bite has the potential to slow down the process of receiving an accurate diagnosis and proper treatment. So in areas where no spiders are known to cause this problem, it should absolutely not be a first guess for a local GP. It also increases unnecessary fear of spiders and alienates us from the environment we live in and the animals that are intricately linked with our own survival. My best advice for combating myths is that whenever someone tells you about an animal, that includes me, double check it with a reliable source before you pass it on to anyone else. Thanks for watching She's Got Legs. These videos are funded by our awesome supporters at Patreon, so check out the link in the video description if you want to be part of the project. If you're interested in these beautiful framed tarantula molts, I'll link in the video description where you can get your hands on one. And speaking of our awesome Patreon supporters, here they are now.